I have the typical Hunter ceiling fan issue where the lights blink because of a faulty wattage limiter. The fan model is 52 inches Georgetown, Type 2, purchased from Lowe's and installed in March 2009. The light kit uses two candelabra-based 60-watt bulbs. The chain pull light switch is located below the two screw and bulb bases and is connected with two black wires. It does not appear to be wired between the bulb bases and the electrical components in the cowl. All the online solutions I've seen talk about a limiter with 3 wires, but I have nothing with 3 wires in my light assembly. There are no remotes for either fan or light. I have removed the light cowl from the fan assembly and there are 2 electrical components in it. One, the larger of the 2, is labeled CBB61 and has a wiring diagram on it showing the 5 attached wires, 2 gray, 1 green, 1 brown and 1 purple. It is attached to the fan speed chain pull switch and the fan direction reversing switch. The diagram shows 5 oof microfarads on the green and brown wires and 3.5 oof on the purple wire. I assume this component controls the fan speeds. It has 3 or 4 speeds, I don't remember which since we only use one. There is a separate wall switch for the fan and one for the light with no dimmers/rheostats on either. The lights strobe whether the fan is on or not. The other smaller electrical component is also labeled CBB61, 5 oof ±5% 300 vac 50/60ths of a hertz, and only has 2 wires, one white and the other red. The white is connected to the light bulb sockets, as well as other white wires in the assembly, and the red goes into a 9-pin connector detachable block, 3x3. The cowl block attaches to a block in the main fan unit still attached to the ceiling. Only 6 of the 9 pins have actual wires in them. So that leads me to my questions. 1. Is this smaller component the wattage limiter? 2. If it is, can it be removed from the circuit, and connect the white and red wires together? 3. I'm not asking if I should connect the red and white wires, but I'm asking, would I short out the entire unit and possibly start a fire if I did? 4. Would this in effect remove the limiter from the light circuit? I know you can't recommend that I remove the limiter, I just want to know if my actions would remove the limiter without immediate failure of the lights or fan. After all, the unit was designed for 260W incandescent bulbs. That's what I'm using.
Welcome. My name is would be glad to assist. Both items you have described seem to be capacitors and not a wattage limitation. Normally with UF, signifies a capacitor which is used for motors only. Can you drop the light kit from the fan, and get a picture or 2 in post? Use the paperclip symbol to post pictures directly from your PC to this chat area. Or upload to a free share site and provide the private link they give you. Let me know and we can continue, thanks. Here's a picture of one style Hunter uses.
I don't see anything like that in the light cowl.
Okay, thanks. That little bitty black component, I cannot read all the writing, but that appears to be your wattage limiter there. There isn't anything else that even resembles one.
That is actually just a paper tag on the black wire. Connect light kit black wire here. There is also a similar tag on the white wire. I'm sorry the picture is so bad, the tag looks like something of substance, but that's all it is. The other white rectangle in the cowl at the top of this picture is 2-sided tape to hold the smaller component in place.
Okay, really looks like something with 2 wire connected in the picture. Okay, the black wire going to the light sockets, it first goes to the connector block, then the connector block mates up to the other half. What does that black socket wire mate to on the other half? Also, the red wire from that CBB61, what does it mate to on the block? Thanks.
The block on the fan assembly only has 6 wires coming out of it and going into the middle where the center of the motor would be. Nothing else at all. There is a nylon sleeve around the wires, but I checked and there is no component inside of it, just wires. I'm guessing I'd have to take the fan down and pull all the wires out from the bottom and see if the limiter comes with it. Each of the 6 wires from the block go back up into the fan assembly. There are no simple jumpers from one of the block connections to another. For just a hot wire for the fan, a hot wire for the light and a ground, from the wall switches, I don't understand why there needs to be 6 wires going into the light assembly.
Okay, I think there is confusion here. The wires asked about go to a mating connector. The connector mates with the other connector and they snap together. So, each wire on one side mates to a wire on the other side. Just looking to see what color wires they mate to? That's it.
Okay, sorry for the confusion. I hope this is the answer you're looking for. The red wire from the smaller CBB61 connects to a red wire on the fan side connector. The black wire from the light sockets mates up to a black and white striped wire on the fan side connector.
Okay, thanks. That is what we needed. That black stripe is the one that goes directly to the ceiling connections. So, it looks like your fan doesn't have a wattage limiter by the wiring. The black wire gets power from the ceiling and the neutral, white, wire gets connected to the group. That is power at all times when the switch is turned on. This may be a switch issue. Either wall switch or pull chain is failing and the contacts are arcing, causing the light bulbs to flickers. This is a common issue for either pull chain or wall switch. A 2-lead tester would confirm, or you can direct wire around the wall switch and try it first. Just connect the 2 wires together, eliminating the switch for a test. Or you can test the switches with a tester.
I'm going to pull the lights wall switch out of the wall and use a wire nut to tie the 2 wires that go into it together. I noticed that the lights wall switch has 1 black and 1 red wire coming out of it. Is that what you'd expect to see? I believe the fan switch has 2 black wires, but I'm not messing with it.
Yes, very common. They pull a 3-wire cable to the ceiling so the light and fan are separated and can work independently with their own switches.
Well, without the wall switch for the light, when the circuit breaker goes back on, there is about a 15 seconds lag and both of the lights start to strobe again. So it appears that the wall switch is not the problem. How would I go about taking the lights pull chain out of the circuit to see if that is the issue? I put the wall switch back in the circuit and flipped the circuit breaker and the lights began to strobe again. My previous statement that it took about 15 seconds lag to begin to strobe could have been misleading. Perhaps I was looking before my wife threw the breaker back in, because this time there was no 15 seconds lag. But a side note, and this may be nothing. Ever since we've had the fan, when the wall light switch would be flipped, it would take about 1 to 1.5 seconds before the lights came on. If you've ever had CFL bulbs that were not instant on, you know what I mean. The lag was about like that. We have not used the pull chain on the light assembly in a couple of years, just the wall switch.
Okay, I understand on the lagging, that too is a common issue on switches. With switch on the wall, pull the pull chain a few times and see if there is any change. I just do not see any limiter with the wiring. They always have them above the light if used.
Okay. I think you just hit the target. I pulled the chain a few times and nothing happened. So I gave it one hard yank and the light came on without blinking. I turned off the wall switch and then back on and the light did not come back on. A few more yanks and nothing, then one more and they came on solid. I guess I need to take the chain switch out of the circuit. I'm thinking I could cut the wires where they come out of the switch and use a wire nut on them so the chain switch is out of business totally. The wall switch is all we use anyway. I can replace the switch after I find one. I have the parts list for the fan, but that part is not listed. I guess I can call Hunter and see if they can help me. I bet you're tired of this issue. Thanks for your help and we can consider this issue solved. It seems that I jumped to the conclusion that the chain switch was the problem. Well, I took it out of the circuit, wired the two leads coming out of it together on the bulb holder side and it still blinks. There must be a wattage limiter in that fan somewhere. I'm going to look for a replacement bulb holder and see if I can solve it that way. At least I know it is not the wall switch, it can't be the chain switch, so what else could it be? Process of elimination. I'm wondering if there could be a limiter inside the plastic bulb holder. Thanks again for your help.
Okay, the limiters are always accessible in the lower portion of the fan where the light kit connects. I have never seen one anyplace else since they started around 2005-06, I believe was the time frame. I won't say they cannot be somewhere else, but that location is the only one that generally has room for them in wiring. If you look where the fan wires to the ceiling, I believe you will find that the red wire in the ceiling connects to a black with stripe wire. That wire runs down the full length of the fan tube in the center, to the plug where you found it connects to the black to the light kit. So, that eliminates anything in between. I am still thinking on the issue myself, it is odd to say the least.
Well, I took the base apart and you're right. There is nothing there but the few parts that make up the screw and bulb base. There's nothing else to fail except a short or an open, and I don't believe that is the problem. Oh well. It looks like a new ceiling fan is in order.
This is one of the situations that I wish I was on site to do some tests. Like a continuity test from where the wire connects at the ceiling down to the plug connection and onto the light sockets to find where the continuity is being lost. That would lead to a closer explanation at least.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert, now visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.